welcome to cloudy Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, home of the Westports Malaysia Dragons, as they welcome the visiting San Miguel Beermen, led by their prolific centre Brian Michael Williams, who just 6 months ago was calling Malaysia Kuala Lumpur his very own home country, even though he's from America, because he played for the Westports Malaysia Dragons right here at the MABA Stadium as the home team take on the San Miguel Beermen. This is a repeat of last year's semi-final, where the Beermen won 2 games to 1 and went on to the final to take on and lose to the Indonesia Warriors. Hello basketball fans, you're with me, Ben Ibrahim, Andy Whitelaw, and our courtside reporter Lenora Lau, live on Fox Sports. And like I said earlier, Andy, this game is very, very emotional, not just with the return of Brian Williams, but at the end of training yesterday, Coach Ariel Van Guardia of the Westports Malaysia Dragons told his team, I designed this 2013 team specifically to defeat the San Miguel Beermen.
Yeah, it's been a habit of heartbreak for the Malaysia Dragons. They're not on a good run. They want to beat this Beermen side. They've got a couple of new players we're very, very excited about. They just have to work on those offensive rebounds and especially defensive boards, because there was 19 second chance points for the Singapore Slingers to the Dragons 4. They know what they have to work on and they are up for it today.
Well, they could have won that game against the JobStreet.com Singapore Slingers before the Chinese New Year break. And let's look at the highlights on this one. 28 seconds to go. The Dragons were down by 2 points, Andy.
Yeah, hearts were in mouths. It was Moala Tautua who comes in with the dramatic steal. He's in. The fan thinks he's going to lay it in. He goes Hollywood style for the dunk, and the fans could not believe it. That was the game. That was the moment. Such an energetic, exuberant player, and he just lost it, Ben.
Well, Coach Ariel Van Guardia said to me last night he wasn't so angry at Mo Tautua for doing this dunk, because it's adrenaline, it's activity, it's emotion, it's quick thinking on your feet, and that's what you do to win the game. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't, but as you can see on the screen, he's gutted, he's disappointed. So what does that loss mean to the table, Andy? Let's look at it right now. The Dragons are now in 5th position. The Warriors top the table after their victory last night over the Chang Thailand Slammers, 90 points to 74, and Chris Charles scored 27 points in that game. A fantastic victory for the Warriors. They are the benchmark this season, and the Beermen keeping them on their toes, Andy.
Yeah, on their toes, all right. They are the team to beat along with the Warriors this season. But, you know, with these new imports, the Dragons fancy their chances, and the Beermen are worried about these imports. They did not want them to play today.
Well, there's 2 new imports in the Dragons team, and Lenora has more news about the imports. Over to you, Lynn.
Hey, everybody. Wow, the last game for the KL Dragons versus Singapore Slingers had me shaking. So I'm really keen to see what's going to happen for this game as any other KL Dragon fan. We got 2 new recruits, which are Justin Moulton and also Sammy Monroe. Justin was around on Monday and Sammy flew in on Thursday. Not much training time with the rest of the Dragons, but I gotta tell you something. Sammy, the new man, he actually said that he's a better all-round player than Beermen's Freeman. We're gonna see what's gonna happen, okay? Now we're going to go to a quick commercial break. Stay around. This is ABL.
Welcome back to ABL Season 2013. You're joining me, Ben Ibrahim, Andy Whitelaw, and Lenora Lau, and both teams are just waiting for the national anthems to be played out. Right now, it's Negaraku, the Malaysian national anthem. But Andy, let's talk about rebounds, because all week long, Coach Ariel Vanguardia has told his team, rebound, rebound, rebound.
Yeah, it's a major factor for the Dragons, isn't it? Time and again, we've said this. They need to be sharper on those defensive boards. They've got Edwards in there, who I rate as a very talented basketball player. We'd just like to see him assert himself a little bit more in the paint, because he could be so effective. Some people have asserted that maybe he's more of a forward than a centre, but with his physicality and ability, we'd just like to see a bit more from him.
Well said. But Coach Leo Austria for the San Miguel Beermen, he said to us last night, look, I've got to be very, very wary of their transition game. They're a quick side, especially with Justin Melton in the team. He's quick, and he is not afraid to take on big guys, even though he's 5'10".
I can't wait to see him, Ben. He can dunk the basketball as well. I mean, he's 5'10", he can spring. He's really going to provide something of a wild card for the Dragons today. I know that the Beermen are apprehensive about what Justin Melton can do, and of course, Sammy Monroe.
Well, let's talk about Sammy Monroe, because this guy has just got off a plane from Mexico. He's 6'6", all the way from Jacksonville in North Carolina. Yes, Tar Heel fans will be happy with that. He's very, very fired up. Like Lenora said earlier, he said to us last night in training, look, I don't see what the big problem is. I've got the better game than Gabe Freeman. Them fighting words, Andy.
Yes, Ben, you've got to love his confidence. And when he made his debut in the PBA, back in Asia, back in the Philippines, his homeland, back in 2010, he scored 39 points on his debut. So I'm curious, can he turn it on for the KL fans today? He'll want to make an impression.
Well, let's talk about KL and the KL fans, because the KL fans, they're losing confidence in the Westports Malaysia Dragons. They have lost 4 losses in a row, and it's denting the confidence not only of the team, but of the fans as well.
I'd like to see a bit more team chemistry from the boys today. They've got Guga on the bench, of course the captain, which should be a nice surprise. He was due to be out injured, picking up a slight strain against the Singapore Slingers. That'll be a bonus, but as captain, he needs to be more vocal. He needs to pick the boys up when their heads drop. That's one criticism you might level at the Dragons, but when things aren't going their way, they don't show enough unity. They need to fire themselves up for this one. This is a massive, massive game, Ben.
Well, the man who can bring them together today is Setya Seelan Kupusami, number 99. He is 35 years of age, born in 1978, and he is very much a 7th or 8th man. He comes in today for Guga as team captain, and he will be using all his experience to bring these guys together and say to them, look, when you go for the rebound, box out a bit better. When you have the opportunity to shoot, take the shot. When you have the opportunity to set up the pick and roll, set it up, but make sure you put it at the back of the basket.
Yeah, you mentioned boxing out. They must box out better, Ben. Gabe Freeman will have a field day if they don't sharpen up in the paint. In his previous game, he scored 33 points with 15 rebounds. He is no doubt the one to watch.
Right. Well, look at this. They start with Paulo Hubalde. He comes in, and he very much is a replacement for Chris Panchero, but he starts today. Hezi Acuna, who doesn't play much. Christian Lonzon, who was the 2001 PBL Rookie of the Year. He has hardly played any minutes this season, but he starts. What is Coach Leo Austria trying to tell us, Andy?
Looks like he's trying to switch it up a bit and keep the Dragons guessing. He has faith in his local players. We know how good these Filipinos can be. Let's take a look at the Dragons lineup. In there, we've got Justin Melton, the new boy, playing. He's going to set it up, be the playmaker for the Dragons. John Eung, lots of experience in there. Sammy Monroe, he'll be making a statement today. Expect many points from him. Then Yung Jing Kwan, who can be effective in the paint, tall.
Well, we're about to go to the opening tip-off, and, well, there's a bit of a mistake there, because we see the big man, Gavin Edwards, on the floor, so he will start at center. And it's opening tip-off, and both Freeman and Edwards shaking hands. And Andy, this is going to be hammer and tong stuff, because the Dragons and the Beermen both believe they can beat each other, and beat each other convincingly. So the referees look at each other, whistle, opening tip-off, and it's Dragons ball, Andy.
Dragons ball, let's go Dragons, the fans shout. Now I'm intrigued by these new players, but things weren't going well for the Dragons. Team chemistry was not good, but what a statement from Sammy Monroe, putting up the 3 straight away, Ben.
Well, he had an open man, nobody closing him down, so good eyes by Sammy. But here we have Chris Banchero setting it up to Brian Williams, and Andy, he's got open man.
Open man, Gabe. Wow, that's clean as you like. 3 apiece.
Great play so far, 3 apiece, Andy, and it's even Stevens.
Yeah, Gabe Freeman with the technique there, but Williams showing why he is the best rebounder in this league. It's turned over though. The Dragons look to break fast through Justin Melton. He's matched up by Chris Banchero. Finds Tautua back to Melton now. Melton can be very creative. He's a smart basketball player. I'm really intrigued to see how he can set the plays up. And the Dragons have not assisted well, have they, Ben, recently? So can that change today?
Well, it can, because they've been working at it all week long, apart from their rebounding. Now, just a few weeks ago, you wouldn't have seen that, so that's a big improvement there. They're already really trying to get second chance baskets, so they're being a bit more aggressive. Lo Shi-Fai being very courageous, trying to open up a bit of a lead, but now it's inbound pass by the home team, the Malaysia Dragons.
Justin Melton with the assist to Edwards. Edwards misses the layup. Chris Banchero.
That's a foul, Andy. That is going to be, you have 2 shots to the line. And Banchero will take this. And that was a blocking foul.
Chris Banchero, so effective in the previous game for the Beermen, scoring 26 points. Now they were 64% from the line in that game. That's great averaging.
Great averaging, and just to add to that statistic, he's having a great season. Last season, he averaged 13 points per game. This season, he's averaging 15 points per game, and his average field goal percentage is 48%. So great start to the season by Chris Banchero, but the Dragons are now on the attack. They've got to protect the ball better. Edwards to the hoop.
What a statement, Moala Tautua. He's got a point to prove. And when he's on song, his energy can have a fantastic effect on his teammates. He can deliver the tempo in a major way, and we saw it there, Ben.
Well, he learned from that missed slam dunk last week against the Slingers, Andy.
Out to Gabe Freeman with the 3. That's better rebounding from the Dragons. Edwards. It's a loose ball, but Tautua fancies it. Drives in, matched up by Brian Williams, though.
So it looks like Brian Williams showing no emotion here, Andy. He has been very effective in these last opening minutes, really getting in there with the block shots and the rebounds. And a lot of people said, well, he said to us last night in training, I'm a bit homesick because I still consider this home. But he's not showing that on the court at the moment, is he?
Yeah, he'll have a point to prove, and you expect him to be rebounding. He got 11 boards in his previous game against the Chang Thailand Slammers. He's so effective in the lane, and the Dragons will have to watch out for their old boy today.
Dragons leaving a lot of Beermen open at the moment. They've got to be careful. That was a great backdoor pass by the Beermen to lead to that basket, Andy.
Delightful pass from Taulava, using every bit of his 39 years experience. He is a hero in the Philippines. All the fans wanted to have their photo taken today with the tower that is Taulava.
Shi-Fai shoots.
Shi-Fai rebounding his own shot. It falls to Edwards, and that's what you want from Gavin Edwards. Inside the lane, rebounding, 7-6 Dragons.
If all fails, try again, Andy.
Well, massive dunk from Brian Williams, dunking it in the faces of his old teammates. It was a delightful assist, though. Well played from the Beermen.
Exciting stuff here at the MABA Stadium. Monroe tries to get it underway. The new boys for three. No basket, Andy, and here come the Beermen, my friend.
Here come the Beermen. Avenido inside to Williams, matched up by Monroe. It's nice to see the new recruits linking up so well, and already we're seeing some smarter basketball from the Dragons.
Well, that's a very good point, because one thing that the Dragons did not do so well at the start of the season is work the boards and get those second chances. So they're doing that much better, I must say, but long way to go, Andy.
Taulava inside, puts it up, and it's rebounded by Williams. Back to Taulava. It's crowded in the lane. Wow, so many bodies in the paint right there.
Coach Ariel Van Gordia trying to act as a referee, and he said, that's a travel, and that is a holding foul. Let's look at that again on the replay. And the big man, Asi Taulava, 2nd of March, he is showing that age is not a hurdle in this game, but he did not get that first shot. But it's early days yet, Andy. Very, very early days. Exciting basketball being played thus far.
Very exciting, Ben. And Taulava, 11 points in his previous game against the Slammers. He'll be another man to watch inside. I mean, that's where the Beermen play a lot of their basketball. They love to play inside. That's where they're strong, they're experienced, and physically they're gargantuan. And they'll use every bit of their experience to try and dominate the Dragons on these rebounds, where they know the Dragons are not strong.
Well, that's what the Beermen do very well. They defend really well. They're very good in the paint. Look at that open space. Williams, hook shot, miss, rebound by the Dragons, Andy.
Solid defensive board from Freeman. Takes it up. But here come the Beermen batting in the finger roll.
That's awesome. That is awesome stuff by the Beermen. Good basketball by the visiting team. And they are playing with more confidence at the moment. Dragons not afraid to attack the basket, but they've got to be wary of those rebounds. If you're going to be creative underneath the rim, make sure someone's there to box out better and get the rebound.
Melton with the spin move. He's crowded out there. Outside Monroe, and that's an air ball. So dynamic, Chris Pinchero in the lane, showing exactly why he was so dominant in the previous match with those 26 points against the Slammers.
They just turned over the ball there, Andy, and turnover is a problem, or turnovers is a problem for the Dragons this season. Let's just take a short commercial break. We'll be right back here on ABL Season 2013. Welcome back to Fox Sports live coverage of the game between the Westports Malaysia Dragons and the visiting San Miguel Beermen. And yes, it is the Beermen who lead by 4 points. So with me, Ben Ibrahim, Andy Whitelaw, and Lenora Lau. And Andy, much better in terms of rebounding for the Dragons, but their turnovers are really horrific. But if you want to find out information about the Dragons, go to www.kldragons.com and you have all the stats and news about the home team. But like I said earlier, Andy, turnovers seems to be a little bit of a problem in the first part of the first quarter.
Yes, Ben. 5 turnovers already for the Dragons, which is a reoccurring error for the home team. They need to quicker ball movement. But that will do. Tautua, sweet dunk.
And this guy is playing like a man possessed. He wants to make sure he has a good game, and more importantly, the Dragons win. But the Beermen looks like they're calling for some sort of play. Banchero says, taps on the head. That's a setup play. Banchero lays up to the basket.
Beermen, one-handed two. Very nice from the Beermen's star man. Now we almost saw Melton and Tautua doubling up on Banchero there. I don't know whether they've seen his previous game with his high scoring. That could be an interesting tactic from Coach Ariel.
This is a bit of a mismatch here, and Coach Ariel has to be careful. Brian Williams is doing a pretty good job on Wala Tautua. Don't forget, Williams is 6'10", Tautua is 6'7", so a bit of a height difference, and that's why Brian Williams is having the better defensive game.
Well, he's one of the best defenders in the ABL, Ben, but I'll tell you what, we have seen from Wala Tautua that he can jump. We just saw him hanging on the rim there with Edwards with a useful 2. But don't underestimate Wala Tautua, he can leap.
He's a very, very athletic man. Banchero to Williams. Williams tries to spin and move. And that will be no basket. That is considered, charging foul by Williams. And it looks like Beermen not happy with that, but if you look at their defensive guarding position, legal guarding position, the Dragons at 2 feet on the ground, hands in the air. So the new boy, they call him the Mouse, Justin the Mouse Melton, played professional basketball in Brazil and also for the Philippine national team. Patrick Kabahag on the court now. Can he make a difference of being an effective 6-man on the team? Let's look at this, Andy. The Dragons, I must say, when they're setting up their offensive system, they're quite nice. They work the court, they work the perimeter really well, but finishing product a bit inconsistent lately.
Yeah, what you want to see is quicker ball movement. I've been impressed with Monroe and Melton, to be honest, so far. I think they've gelled well considering they've had just 2 training sessions. But quicker ball movement, they want to create the space for their shooters. If they can get Kabahag in a hot zone, then they could be in business.
Avenido trying to set something up. Open man gave Freeman for the 3. Good aggressive rebound by Wala Tautua. That's going to be a blocking foul. Possession to the home team. Coach Ariel getting extremely animated on the court there, Andy. It's not even half time and he's just going, yep, berserk already.
Well, he knows how much this means to the home fans. They desperately need this W. They're coming up against a team where they've got history with today, Ben. Remember the semi-final last season. They mean business. They want this W, and you can tell individually and collectively that they're very much with their minds on getting it done.
Getting the W, that's what it's all about, and this is considered the first team foul for the San Miguel Beermen, so both teams got to watch their fouls today. Banchero in one game previously was fouled out.
How frustrating is that for Edwards? 2 bites at the cherry and he could not nail it. Would love to see him assert himself just that little bit more, Ben, because he's such a talented player.
Early days yet though, Andy, I agree with you, but early days yet. If the Dragons can keep up this energy for the next 4 quarters, they've got a chance, but I still, at this stage, fancy the Beermen. They are the smarter basketball team. Freeman, what a shot, great jumper.
With the fadeaway, very nice. Freeman showing exactly why he gets so many points, such variation in his game. He can score from outside, he can score in the lane.
Bahag playing with a man a little bit shaky. He always says he needs minutes to get going. So can he get going? He shoots.
Edwards missing the offensive board again. He needs to find his rhythm. Meanwhile, Williams inside. Oh! Chris Banchero. Very, very effective. The San Miguel Beermen starting to find their rhythm.
Well, they are a great team. Like I said, they know how to read the game. They don't get worried. They've got a lot of experience in this team. About 7 or 8 guys in this San Miguel team are over 30. Some might say old, but I say wise basketball, Andy. No pun intended.
Well, I'm loving seeing this contrast, Ben. Yeah, it's a good point. You know, we've got the slightly more experienced, older team, the San Miguel Beermen, who are strong underneath the basket. They're very comfortable in the paint, whereas the Dragons like to break, and they're very good at shooting. So it's a kind of contrast in styles. But the trouble is, the Dragons, with so many turnovers, the Beermen are experienced enough to capitalize on that every time.
Well, that's a really good point, because one thing that Coach Leo Austria, like I said earlier, yes, they have to be wary of the Dragons, well, switch from defense to offense and their fast breaks. But it's the Beermen who are doing the better fast breaks at the moment. When they're in the perimeter, when they're in the attacking zone, in the perimeter, they seem like they really know what they're doing, and they confuse the Dragons, and the Dragons have a problem defending the Beermen offensive system, Andy.
Yeah, they've got to sort it out, because if they let them have space in the lane where they're dangerous, they will hurt you time and time again.
You know, Andy, Brian Williams, this season, in season 2013, he hasn't started the best. He takes quite a while to get into this game, but it must be something about Malaysia that's bringing out the best in him, because he's playing really, really well at the moment.
Yes, he is. And it's going to be especially poignant for the home fans when your old boy scores against you, but the new boy, Justin Melton, showing great energy inside there to get the Dragons back into this. 6 points in it, 13-19.
Well, he's got the hoop and the arm, and he rates, by his own admission, he says, I'm a very confident shooter. So let's just see how confident he is. Not so confident.
Doesn't quite make the old-fashioned 3 there. Did well to draw the foul and lay in the 2. Here's Freeman. Freeman inside to Williams. He's met by Tautua.
But a great movement there by the Beermen. Really quick thinking by Freeman to see Brian Williams relatively open. Could have scored, but just got over 20 seconds to go. Dragons, Melton. A good back pop out. Tautua hits the rim. Kabahag for the rebound. And it's a basket, Andy. 4-point ball game.
Yeah, that's nice to see somebody like Patrick Kabahag on the rebound there, springing up. Not the tallest player on the court right now, but it's a collective thing. It's a spirit that needs to be shown by the entire team. Rebounding, Edwards has been there time and again, but he's missed a couple of the offensive boards. But with the others chipping in, it's nice to see that the Dragons are trying to do something about this lack of decent offensive boards.
That is a blocking foul, and that will be on Chris Banchero, the man who's only 23 years of age, has only played for one professional basketball team, Andy, and that's the basketball team that you see on the floor today, the visiting San Miguel Beermen. He could have had a great start to his professional basketball career, but he had an injury in 2011, an ACL injury. And Andy, it's a 4-point ball game, 4 seconds to go. Dragons have the ball. What do you think Coach Ariel is going to tell his players? What kind of things is he telling them? Because they sort of let the Beermen get away with it a bit. At one point, it was a 7-point lead for the Beermen, but now, hey, it's anybody's game, but early days yet.
Yeah, it's still early. Now they know who the danger men are. They know that Williams and Freeman are going to get lots of points on the board. And speaking to the coach earlier, what his thinking is, if he can stop the local players from firing, then they might be on the money, because Freeman's going to score points all day long. There's not much you can do about it. It's almost inevitable. They also need to make sure that we've mentioned it before, move the ball quicker and play to their strengths. Justin Melton has set the pace quite well for the Dragons going forward, but the likes of Edwards need to be slightly sharper on those offensive boards.
2 seconds to go. No basket, and it's the Beermen who lead by 4 points in the opening quarter here at the MABA Stadium in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. And Andy, the second quarter is just underway. We're just going to take a very short commercial break. Don't go away. Welcome back to the MABA Stadium, live on Fox Sports between the Westports Malaysia Dragons and the San Miguel Beermen, the visiting team. The Beermen lead the Dragons by 4 points, 19 points to 15. And Andy, even though it's a 4-point ball game, it is a truly exciting game. And if you want to give us some feedback or just say hello, just go to our Twitter account, www.twitter.com, and type in @ABL News, and please tell us what you think of the game. But Andy, great start, electric by both teams, and I'm sure you have some stats to share with us.
Well, at the moment, not so much stats. I just want to say how impressed I am with the Beermen and Leo Austria playing very smart basketball, because he's playing a full court man-for-man against the Dragons, which has been so effective. They just haven't been able to create the space they need. What they need to do, the Dragons, is set up that pick and roll, set up those screens to create passage for those easy baskets. But so far, it's working like a dream for the Beermen, but you just wonder, this style of D is very, very energy draining. So can they keep it up for the entire game? That remains to be seen, but so far, smart from Leo Austria.
Well, he's a smart coach, and he doesn't give anything away. We asked him about his tactics today, and he just laughed at us in a very polite, diplomatic fashion. And that's a sense of a true gentleman. But if you look at the Dragons now, they have brought on Chi Li Wei, the part-time player with the Malaysia Dragons, number 37. I think Coach Ariel is trying to do something about the mismatch between Tautua and Williams. So he's bringing in someone a bit taller. Not as fit as Tautua, I must admit, but height is a big, big factor, especially what the Dragons found out against the Chang Thailand Slammers when they had problems guarding Chris Charles, the big 7-foot man from America, for the Thai team. So 21-15 to the Beermen, playing well. The Dragons, they're in touching distance, Andy.
Yes, they are, but a sloppy turnover to Brian Williams, who drives in with all his strength. But Monroe was there. Being into the San Miguel Beermen.
Let's look at this replay here. Yep, there was contact there, so Beermen ball.
Banchero to Williams. Oh, from outside, but it's Dragons ball. Justin Melton will bring it out. He'll find Monroe, who'll go for the big three, and nails it then.
That's a tray. That's what they call from downtown. Keeps him within 3 points of the Beermen. Now the Dragons, look at Patrick Kabahag trying to defend Brian Williams. That's a huge mismatch. And RJ Rizada, the co-captain of the Beermen, on the floor right now. Williams. We have a foul here. That's a pushing foul. Hezi Acuna now coming on for the co-captain, RJ Rizada, number 23. Hezi Acuna, he's a swingman. He can play at guard or he can play at forward. That goes to show you how much depth the Beermen have, Andy.
Yes, they do. They've got some great strength in depth on the bench, and they're confident whoever they bring on can get the job done. We've spoken about their experience, but at the moment, Brian Williams is using all his experience of the Malaysia Dragons, and it's been very effective. They want to watch those pushing fouls on him in the paint.
That's an excellent play. Excellent play by the Beermen, really drawing out the defenders of the Dragons, and it worked, and they have a decent lead, 6 points. Patrick Kabaha, can he do something about that with his shooting ability? The new boy, great drop shot to the basket. That's confidence, Andy.
Confidence, yeah, we've spoken about Monroe and how much belief he has in his own ability, but we're speaking about the Beermen and how they're confident in whoever they bring onto the basketball court, and Acuna, who hasn't had too many minutes, finished that move. I mean, great basketball from the Beermen, and what a finish from Acuna.
Well, that's right. This is the time. If you want to make your mark, step up and make a point. And Hezi Acuna, well, he's done that. He only averages 3 points per game, 1 rebound. His average field goal percentage is 56% in the season. Pretty high for a guy that doesn't start much, Andy.
Pretty high. 33% both teams from three-point land in the first quarter. Scores 24-20 to the visitors. Here's Justin Melton.
Looks like the two boys are going head-to-head. They're double-teaming Monroe. Watch the backcourt. Leeway. Now that's signs of rustiness, Andy, because he doesn't play much. Don't forget, he is a part-time player with the team. He only trains about once or twice a week because he is running a hotel in Malacca.
Oh, really?
Yeah, mate.
An interesting piece of information. Mwala Tautua, Patrick Kabahar, needs to create that space for himself, and does with a long two.
Spreading it nicely, the Beermen. Air ball. Nobody to rebound for the Dragons. A shot again. Rebound by the Dragons. Can they attack? But they attack slowly and try to set it up. Oh, rejection. Freeman showing he is the better player now. All the way.
With the fast break now, the Malaysia Dragons, it's Justin Melton, back to Tautua, Tautua with the lay-in. The pace and tempo of this basketball game has just picked up.
Well, Andy, I've lost words. All I'm just going to say is I really love this game because that was a fantastic play. End-to-end stuff by both teams.
Acuna from three-point land, bouncing off the rim. Here's Monroe. Monroe finds Melton, matched up by Hubalde, but takes the three with aplomb.
From downtown, and the Westports Malaysia Dragons have the lead, 25-24. The crowd is fired up, and they go to the bench for a timeout to re-strategize, to re-look at the plan. Andy, oh my gosh, that is great stuff. I mean, there we see the new boy showing no signs of jet lag and just going and taking the basket. We're just going to take a very short commercial break. Don't go away. And both teams now, Leo Austria will be saying to his players, look guys, don't worry about the scoreboard. You've been here before. You've been here many times. It's only the second quarter. Let's get our shape inside because the Dragons' defense at the moment, their defensive system, a little bit inconsistent. Andy.
Yeah, they don't seem to have as firm a plan as the Beermen do in terms of their full court man for man. The Dragons are going zonal. And at times, Freeman, using the individual skill we know he has created space and brought other people into the game. Panchero and Acuna from three-point land, quite effective, while Taulava, the most experienced man on the court, has been not as explosive as we've seen him in previous games, so that's a credit to the Dragons.
Well, they've got great options, the Beermen. They can rotate between him and the big man, Eric Major Payne Menk, who's 38 years of age. Average field goal percentage is 56%.
And now the Dragons can break. Justin Melton inside, looking for support, doesn't need it, puts up the shot. Very smooth, Justin Melton.
Very wise vision there. Just find the open space, Andy. And nobody from the Beermen thought he was going to take that shot, but he did. And now the Dragons have a 3-point lead. That will boost the confidence of the home team. So all the momentum lately in the last 90 seconds going with the home team, Andy. A little bit of a change to what we saw, because earlier, before the first quarter, momentum was with the Beermen.
Yeah, it was with the Beermen, but second quarter, remember, Ben, was very unimpressive in Singapore. The second quarter, notoriously, has not always favoured the Malaysia Dragons, but we're seeing a slightly different mentality from the home team today, and it seems they will not lie down on what is one of the strongest teams in the ABL, the San Miguel Beermen.
I'll agree to that. They are a tough and strong team and know how to play the game. That is a great shot by Mr. Monroe. Playing with confidence. And these two young last-minute imports slash fill-in, they could be the difference. Turnover by the Beermen. Monroe sees the open. Oh, that would have been a fantastic basket. Athletic play there by Justin Melton.
You've got to love the interplay between Monroe and Melton there. It had so much effect against the opposition. Now, what a smart basketball player Melton's looking. It might affect the decision by the Beermen to double team Monroe, which they've been trying to do, because of the way he's playing. His vision and intelligence has been so impressive today.
Very impressive. Looks like there's like a brotherhood, a chemistry between the new imports. They know where each other are. They know what each other are going to do. But we're going to talk more about that after the commercial break. Don't go away. We're just halfway through the second quarter, where the Dragons, the home team, will go to the line. And they've been playing the smarter, more effective basketball over the last couple of minutes, having a 6-point lead. And they could have been 7, but Melton missing that one. Even though he's had a great game, him and Monroe, the two new imports that just joined the Dragons this week. I must say, Andy, they've had a great start, and he hits that one. And it is now a 7-point lead. This will probably lift the confidence of the Dragons, but they've got to hold on to it.
Yeah, there's a long way to go in this one. You've got to admire the San Miguel Beermen's D today. They have set themselves up well, no longer doing the full prop man-for-man, as that's so difficult to keep going. But the reason the Dragons have been doing so well is Monroe's outside shooting and the new boy Melton's ability to move the basketball. We talked about how they needed to move the ball earlier, but that is a wonderful three from Chris Banchero for the Beermen.
Not just a wonderful three, but notice how they just work the perimeter. Open men, open men, open men. It was just like moving it around like the corner offense. excellent strategy by Coach Leo Austria and the Beermen.
The Dragons need to watch that. We've spoken how good the Beermen's D has been, but here's the break. Banchero inside, back to Williams. And the visiting Filipino crowd like that one.
How quickly things can turn around. We were just saying it was about 7 to 8 point lead for the Dragons, and then now it's a 2-point game, Andy. What happened? Just not holding on to the ball.
Well, you got to compliment the Beermen. Great ball movement. Interplay between Williams and Banchero was incredible. I've been a huge fan of Banchero. He's on a great run of form. He's been through some injury trouble, but now he's feeling sharp. He's up for it, and it's going to be a very, very interesting rest of this game.
Let's just have a listen, and let's just have a quick ear to what Coach Leo Austria is saying to his troops. Well, both coaches, Leo Austria and Coach Ariel Van Guardia, are taking this opportunity to sort of set up the last part of this quarter before halftime. Even a lead by the smallest of margins, Andy, even by 1 point, it can have a psychological effect on the leading team. And the Dragons, they'll want to be the leading team going into halftime, even though they've got a history of complacency.
Yeah, well, sometimes what you need is a change to refresh the team, refresh the boys, lift them when their heads drop, and you just feel these two new recruits have set the place abuzz. The crowd can sense it, they're excited by what they see, and their teammates can feel it.
But I must give credit to the Beermen, Gabe Freeman and Brian Williams on rebounding. You know, I can't wait to halftime to look at their numbers on rebounding and how they work the board, because all I can say is absolutely impressive.
Ban Sin Oi to Edwards. Ban looking for space, but it's out to Munro. Munro puts the shot, very slick from the Dragons.
He's not shy when it comes to jumpers, is he?
No, his shot from outside has proven many points today. He says he's better than Freeman, and what a matchup between these two individuals, but Munro proving he can be a team player as well.
That is a soft basket. They should have rebounded a lot better. Take nothing away from Asi Taulava. Smart on the rebound, but the Dragons, they're losing their composure when it comes to working the boards this quarter a bit.
It's that old trouble that comes back to haunt them, but Munro again. Wow, his consistency. He is very hot today.
Well, Munros don't grow on trees, do they? In this part of the world, Andy.
Too right, no they don't. And how well did the Dragons do to find this guy? It's very difficult to replace a man like Cedric Bozeman, but Freeman sending a message with that three. The score is 35 to 34 to the Dragons.
Anything you can do, I can do better. And looks like it's going to be a great individual contest between Freeman and Munro.
These guys will go tit for tat all day, but here, what about Brian Williams matching up Edwards and leaving him on the floor in his own house? Edwards has got to get fired up now.
That will be a Beermen ball. Leo Avenido, the veteran of the ABL, played for the Brunei Barracudas in the year 2009 and with the Jobstreet.com Singapore Slingers in the year 2010. 35 years of age, same age as Setyaseelan Kupusami. Well, he was about to get things again underway with just over 2 minutes remaining in this quarter, but both teams are going to go to the bench and re-strategize on what they need to do. But one thing that I've noticed about Coach Leo Austria here, Andy, in this game, he's put a lot of faith in Hezi Acuna, even though Hezi has not played much this season, and looks like Hezi is repaying that faith.
Yeah, we saw him nail a beautiful three earlier on in the game. He's got a lot of faith in his entire squad. He's not afraid to use the local players. and they can be so strong. Their defense has been hugely influential today, going man for man, and they're stopping the Dragons at times, but Monroe's individual performance has been really something to admire.
Very, very much agree with that. But the Dragons, they really have, well, I'm going to sound like a little bit of a repeat mode here, Andy, but boards. Got to work the boards. You've got 2 aggressive guys there. Actually, you've got 4 aggressive guys there. You've got Taulava, you've got Williams, you've got Menk, you've got Freeman. All these guys are not afraid to go to the basket to get the rebound, and they are great rebounders, and they're showing that in this game.
Well, you said it, Ben, and I think that's why the Dragons can't afford to go man for man so much with the Beermen and have to go zone. Because if you go man for man, and they've set the screen up, they've got so many people who can hurt you.
Well, one of them is Chris Banchero. He shoots. Rebound by Edwards, and here come the Dragons. Not flying out of the blocks, Andy. They're trying to slow the tempo down.
It was solid rebounding from Edwards. I'd just like to see him a bit more fired up. Mentioned it earlier, you know, he was left on the floor inside the key. But if he gets fired up, he can be much more influential. He's a much better basketball player than some people realize. His numbers are always solid, he's always consistent, but he's a laid-back individual. But I'm just so curious to see what this guy would be like if he was maybe slightly angry, frustrated, fired up, because he could be a huge player for the Dragons.
So that there was contact between Gabe Freeman and Monroe, and fantastic pair of eyes by the referee, because initially, when we looked at it earlier without the benefit of replay, it did look like a rejection, Andy. So well done to the referee, something we don't say much lately.
Yeah, good on you, Ben. You've got to praise them when they get it right. This Monroe's had a fantastic game already. A cool head from the new boy.
Two-point game. This is how basketball should be played. Richmond, Brian Williams getting very animated and going, oh, what kind of call is that? This man can play basketball and he can sing.
Yeah, not enjoying some of the decisions, Brian Williams. He'll let you know if he's not happy with you. He's quiet, but when he talks, he can be quite intimidating. So strong a player, and he has some strong opinions when it comes to the referee's decisions.
Well, here's a little bit of gossip for you. Last year, Brian Williams was the social man of the team. He was the head of social activity. He's the man that likes to bring people together and joke around, whether it's putting, well, stealing your wallet or hiding your mobile phone. He is the joker, or was the joker, of the Malaysia Dragons last season.
Well, this Chinese New Year, the Dragons will be glad to have kept their red pockets with Williams out of the picture. But here's Freeman, the top of the key, matched up by Edwards. They've tried to double team him. It doesn't work. Freeman says thank you very much.
Great jumper there. Great fadeaway jumper there by Freeman. This man, no wonder he's played basketball all over the world. Very, very showing. He used to play in Townsville in Australia. But now the other import has it. Tautua. Oh, well done. Aggressive basket. Go for the layup. But now here comes the Beermen quickly on the attack, Andy.
Freeman, quick pass to Taulava. Great rejection from Monroe.
Now that's better defense by the Dragons. Look at this again, Andy. You have 2 guys going up for the big man. That's the way you do it. But in moments like that, you've got to stay composed. You've got to stay controlled. And Freeman goes to the line for 2 shots to try to make this a 1-possession game.
It's unfortunate after such a great rejection to concede the foul. You don't want to send Freeman to the line.
Well, this man averages 20 points a game, 11 rebounds, and 2 assists so far this season. And his average field goal percentage is surprisingly only 41%. But as he showed over the last few games for the San Miguel Beermen, he can make those shots. He can go to the basket, reverse it, reverse layup, any athletic movement. He's in the prime of his career, Andy.
69% success from the line. You don't want to send him there because he will say, as I said, thank you very much. He'll be very grateful to accept the points, but it's very tight, Ben. The Dragons, as fired up as we've seen them in a while.
They're playing with aggression. I do agree with you, Andy. Patrick Kabahag, though, a little bit disappointing in this game so far. He has not hit a basket. He is their sixth man. He is their three-point man. And lately, over the last few games for the Dragons, he has not found his groove. And his confidence will be relatively low. And he's trying to guard Brian Williams. That's a big mismatch.
Yes, it is. We've got Chris Benchero up against Justin Melton. Freeman in a bit of space. Inside to Taulava. Taulava back to Benchero, who puts up the three, rebounded from Brian Williams, the old boy. Chris Benchero has it back. Solid D from Tautua, who has the basketball. Long pass, finds Justin Melton at the buzzer.
Well, that won't count, Andy. That won't count. Good call by the referee. Very, very good call by the referee, because he was still in the air when the buzzer went off. So, again, we don't say this again. I've said this twice today. Good call by the referee.
Stranger things have happened, and the home crowd didn't like it. They would have been on their feet for that one right at the buzzer.
Well, it is a 1-point lead for the home team, the Westports Malaysia Dragons. Can they carry this momentum and this lead for the next 2 quarters? Well, Coach Ariel Van Guardet trying to bring his troops in. Come on, get in quickly. We've got a lot to talk about, because even though there were some positives in terms of rebounding in that half, there would be some disappointment with the way they protected the ball, Andy, in that half.
Yeah, I think he'll say to his players, guys, let's keep going. I mean, this is better in many respects a performance as we've seen from the Dragons. I think the way that the new boys are gelling with their teammates has been hugely impressive. Now, if Munro can keep up this streak of hitting his shots from the outside, while Justin Melton has looked very smart in the paint, passing the ball off very well, we need to get the likes of Kabahag. He's going to tell his team, we need to get you in there, we need to get you on a hot streak, because Kabahag, as he said, hasn't scored today.
He hasn't scored, and he will probably be benched in the next quarter, but we'll see and talk about that a little bit later. But Andy, let's take this opportunity to give credit where credit is due. The San Miguel Beermen, the way they move the basket around the perimeter, the way they suck out the defenders and draw out the defenders, and for their offensive screens, absolutely top notch, shall I say. And let's go over to Lenora to see what she has to say. Over to you, Lynn.
Hey guys, I'm with now Coach Arya, KL Dragons main man. Now I gotta ask you, no, actually I gotta say to you, rebounding has been tremendous today for the KL Dragons. Was that the main thing you worked on all week?
Right now, we're not really worried about the score. We're just worried about how we can compete, how we can get those loose balls and rebounds, and that's the game for us. That's the season for us. We get those loose balls and rebounds. The score will come if we just work hard and persevere. But it's still a long basketball game, and nobody wins in the first half. So we gotta keep grinding and keep getting those.
Your new boys are very impressive. I have to ask you, do you like how they fitted into the game with the rest of the other boys?
They're both professionals, and they know what needs to be done, and they're just staying with the game plan, and we'll just, as I've said, we'll just persevere, hard work, maybe we can steal one.
Sammy has already got 17 points in the game. What do you think about that?
Well, I've coached him before in the Philippines, in the PBA, and we know he can score. He can help us in that department. I'm challenging him to help us more on our rebounds, and make the teammates also better.
Thank you very much, Coach. All the best again. Back to you guys.
Lenora, well, it is 39-38 to the home team, the Westports Malaysia Dragons. We're just going to take a very short commercial break right here on Fox Sports. Don't go away. it's anybody's game here at the MABA Stadium between the Westports Malaysia Dragons and the San Miguel Beermen. The Dragons, Andy, lead 39 points to 38. And can we see this momentum carry over into the second half? We're on a halftime break at the moment, both teams in the locker room.
The standard of basketball has been incredible, Ben. I think it can certainly continue into the second half. The Dragons on their defensive boards have been much more impressive than in previous weeks. Their help defense has been very good. Their zonal D has been very disciplined. It's a nice change to see if you're a Dragons fan, while the San Miguel Beermen's ball movement has also been very nice to watch.
Well, check this statistic out, Andy. 29 rebounds for the San Miguel Beermen compared to the Dragons 22. You would say not by much, but if you look at those numbers, if you break it down, Brian Williams and Gabe Freeman, the two offensive and defensive weapons of the San Miguel Beermen, accounting for 17 of those rebounds in the first half. In my opinion, that has been the difference. Even though the Dragons have the lead, the Beermen have been more exciting to watch on the defensive spectrum.
Well, in terms of D, you know what you're going to get from Brian Williams. He can deliver time and again, one of the best defensive rebounders in the league. Now let's have a look at some of the highlights. Gavin Edwards showing what he can do, but Moala Tautua, you got a feel for him after what happened against the Slingers, showing what he can do. That man Brian Williams with the stuff. Then we had Chris Banchero, the top point scorer in the previous game with 29 for the San Miguel Beermen. He's an individual who can deliver, but Munro and Tautua again with a huge jam.
Well, a huge jam, Andy, and Tautua has been playing with more vigor and confidence. He's got a point to prove after that miss against the Slingers, but Gabe Freeman, I mean, this guy, the Dragons really need to mark him and guard him a lot better because they're giving him too much open space. This is a man who can hit the threes. This is a man who can hit the shot. And yes, Justin there, and the Dragons just going at it. Like you said in the first quarter, many bites of the cherry, and look at that. If you leave the open man, it will be a punishment. And this guy, Justin, Andy, having a great game.
Yes, he is. Justin Melton is a name the Dragons fans won't be forgetting in a hurry. Similarly with Sammy Munro with the long three there. Acuna with a point to prove, with a three of his own. Some great highlights in that first half, Ben.
There we see Tautua again. Great highlights indeed, Andy. And Justin just pulls up, and you have confidence, and nothing but net.
From three-point land, the Dragons showing when they're in the mood, this is what happens. Munro fast becoming a star, and he's only been here for 20 minutes.
Well, I must say, Andy, in your opinion, do you think fatigue will catch up with the two new imports in the second half?
Do you know what? When you're up and when you're winning, fatigue is a funny thing, you know? If you're flying, you're flying. You can dig deep and find the extra, but Ariel will have to be mindful because the dynamic basketball that Munro and Melton have played might catch up to them. He'll have to be wise using his bench.
Well, they've got to be careful of Brian Williams because, like, impressive how they attack the basket, Andy, but Brian Williams really knows how to rebound it, as we said in that statistic. Don't go away, folks. We're just going to take a very short commercial break, but more when we come back right here live on Fox Sports. We are moments away from the second half between the home team, the Westports Malaysia Dragons, who take a slight lead over the visiting team, the San Miguel Beermen. You're with me, Ben Ibrahim, and Andy Whitelaw, live here on Fox Sports. And let's just throw over to our courtside reporter, Lenora Lau, who's with one of the coaches at the moment. Over to you, Lynn.
Thank you very much, guys. I am with Leo Astria. He is the coach for the San Miguel Beermen. And I have to say, Coach, it's a very, very close, tight game. How are you feeling at this point?
Well, I think this is a very exciting game for the fact na Malaysia has a good team. And now I think they find a right import for their team because Monroe and Melton is a good player for them. What is lacking them now, they have it. So Melton is now taking over, and their import Monroe is taking over and directing their team. I think we have to contain these two players, and we have to prevent them from scoring inside the shaded area. And this is our first time to be beaten in the shaded area.
And also for your defense at the moment, it's a little bit shaky. How are you going to expose or change that for the second quarter?
Yeah, you're right, because we did not scout Monroe. This is the first time he played, and also Melton. So we keep on adjusting, but we're still lucky because the game is still close and it's still in the game. And let's see in the second half, because we want to contain Monroe. We don't want him to take over.
Thank you very much, Coach. All the best in the next half of the game. Back to you guys.
Thanks very much, Lenora. So yes, Andy, like Coach Leo Austria said, they've got to improve their defense because they underestimated slightly the imports having such a huge impact for the home team, the Dragons.
Yeah, it's almost a shock to the system for the visiting team. Now, from a Dragons perspective, they know that their field goal percentages are actually up there with the best in the league, despite being 5th in the standings. They had 42% from the field against the Slingers, and today 38% compared with the Beermen's 31%. So they know that the likes of Freeman and Williams will score points, but they also know that if they play their own game and make sure that their defensive boards are on point, that they will score from the field.
They will score from the field. And here's an interesting fact. Coach Leo Austria used to coach Patrick Kabahak from the Dragons in Patrick college days. So there you go. A lot of, well, history and relationships here at the MABA Stadium.
And the Dragons today will hoping that losing streak will be history. Gavin Edwards puts it up, a great rebounding from Gabe Freeman, the star man for the San Miguel Beermen. They try to double up on him. Tautua's left on the floor. Freeman goes into the advertising board. Meanwhile, the referee will award the foul.
2 shots of pushing foul. Very interesting call there, Andy, because in hindsight, I thought, well, Edwards was in legal defensive guarding position. 2 hands up on their feet, not much contact. But then again, it's the referee's game, not an easy job.
Yeah, well, Freeman was left with a bump on the head, and Williams gets sent to the line. Now, his free throw percentages today have looked very good indeed. 100% from the line from Brian Williams, and he'll have an opportunity to continue that rich vein of form there.
Well, yes, this is a type of sensor, Andy. He can hit 3-point shots, he can rebound, he can dunk, he can really get in the paint. He's a good all-round center. They don't make him like him anymore, and he's only a very young, tender age of 25. Taking his first shot, connects.
Still 100% from the free throw line for Brian Michael Williams of New York City.
New York City.
He loves playing in MABA Stadium.
That's his home place, mate. He calls it home.
Melton combining again with Monroe. Here's Moala Tautua matched up by Brian Williams. Backs in, low she 5, loose pass. That's disappointing, but Avenido will pick it up for the Beermen.
Trying to be too creative there, Andy. Keep it simple. There we go. And now, turnover by the Beermen. And Justin is open. Monroe can go to him, but Banchero trying to close him out. Spin. See, again, Andy, trying to be too tricky. They're lucky to win the ball back there.
You know, surprisingly, the Beermen had 10 turnovers to the Dragons 9. That's got to be a first in a while for the opposition to have more turnovers than the Dragons. They'll be happy with that stat.
Well, this is the quarter where both teams have a tradition or have a history in the last games this season of getting a little bit complacent. That's how the Beermen lost to the Indonesia Warriors. They were leading by 13 points at one stage in the fourth quarter, and good shooting by John Smith and Mario Wusong gave the Warriors the victory. So both teams have to be wary of the complacency factor. Shifai for the three, and rebound by Williams. And here's a chance for the Beermen to break again.
Chris Banchero goes for the short, sharp pass. Monroe intercepts, but it will be inbound for the Beermen.
Sometimes those bounce passes can go against you. The opposition can't read it, and the Dragons did read it. And Benito, one-on-one with Tautua. The Rock. That's off Tautua. Good call by the referees.
That was better from Edwards. Matching up two big men, Taulava and Edwards, and here we go at the other end, and Taulava gets the better of Edwards. One apiece. But Avenido, last year's local player of the season, and the Beermen are taking a commanding lead, regaining their lead, Ben.
Regaining their lead, and Gavin Edwards, I must say, Andy, being bullied on the court by the big men of the Beermen. He's got to stay composed. He's getting a little bit frustrated because certain calls have not gone his way, but he needs to play a consistent, hardcore defensive game, because this season so far, he's been bullied by Chris Charles of the Chang Thailand Slammers, by Carl Jeffers of the Jobstreet.com, Singapore Slingers, and Chris Daniels and Steve Demon Thomas. So he does not want to be bullied for another time.
Yeah, he's been out-muscled too many times, and he's a strong guy. He's one of the strongest men in the league. You look at someone like Taulava, he is a tower of a man, but Edwards is about the same size as him.
Well, they both show it.
Yeah.
Well, show it. He needs to, because all of a sudden the Dragons went from a 1-point lead, and now they're behind by 5 points. But early days yet at the MABA Stadium in Kuala Lumpur, and the Dragons unite to say, let's go beat them. Because last night in training, their last call before their huddle was beat the Beermen. But at the moment, it's not quite that way. But like I said, Andy, early days yet, and Shifai will get things underway.
Coach Ariel will have faith that his boys can get back their lead if they continue with this much improved defensive rebounding, because that has been their weakness of late. But 13-12, they out-rebounded the Beermen in the first half. Edwards from outside, clean and smooth from three-point land.
Well, they work the perimeter a lot better, much better offensive zone being set up, and Brian Williams being slightly embarrassed on his former home court, but Tautua is younger, slightly, only by a couple of years compared to Williams, showing that tenacity that we spoke about.
Great word there, Ben, tenacity, and that is Mawala Tautua all over. It can be so important when the heads drop for the players to have a live wire on the court like Tautua.
Spin.
Great skill inside from Freeman. It's a loose ball. Shifai keeps it in, but a sad turnover for the Dragons. Almost goaltending from Melton, trying desperately to keep it out, but doesn't. The score is 46-42 to the Beermen.
Great jump though by Melton. Athletic indeed, but doesn't really matter. Shifai tries to move around Taulava, the big man. And it is a foul on Taulava. That will be his first foul of the game. And first foul, team foul of the quarter for the San Miguel Beermen. Back to a 4-point lead by the visiting team. Lo Shifai, one of the better shooters on the Dragons this season.
Speaking of good shooters, Monroe, a very important three for the home team. And it really is a tight basketball game. Which way it's going to go? The crowd are on the edge of their seats. They're loving it.
Well, I'll tell you in a quarter and a half. The big man goes to the basket. Well done by the Rock, Asi Taulava. And Justin Melton popping his head. Let's set up that play. Oh, rejection. But he gets the ball back, Lo Shifai. Oh, great pass. Oh, messy there. Taulava back. Oh, Andy. That was such a beautiful play in terms of gaining the ball. You know, they lost it, but they got it back, but they couldn't capitalize and really count it. But full credit to the Beermen for hustling.
Yeah, the Beermen will get up in your faces, and if you switch off just for a split second, you will concede the turnover. And while the defensive rebounding has been solid today from the Dragons, they want to watch out for those turnovers.
Patrick Tabaha comes on for Lo Shifai. Can Patrick find some points? Taulava on a live wire on Williams. Referee blocking.
Whoa. Monroe shows the ref where to go.
And I think he might have had a case there, Andy. Chili Way comes in for the Dragons. They can't leave Brian Williams open. Avenido, the veteran.
Banchero strikes gold. Another three from the top scorer in that previous game, Chris Banchero. 29 points in that game against the Slammers.
Great athlete, Andy. Fantastic basketball player. And he's young. He's only 23 years of age.
Monroe takes on Avenido. Out to Justin Melton. Justin Melton! Hello.
We have a game. You see, Andy, Chris Banchero there. He is so fast. You know, I'm surprised in this game last season, before he attacked the basket, he would rub his shoes. Uh-oh. Coach Ariel better come down here. He could get a technical. Jakob, the team GM, trying to calm down Coach Ariel. Doesn't agree with the call. All the Beermen pointed to the referee, said it should be 2 shots. Referee's undecisive at the moment. They don't know where to go. What's the referee's call on this one? Everybody's yelling 2 shots, 2 shots. Referee's got to make a call. What's the call, Mr. Referee? He's chatting to Coach Leo Austria and explaining his reason. It will be an inbound pass by the San Miguel Beermen, Andy.
Yeah, it was a bit contentious there. Both coaches coming right onto the court to argue their cases. But it's ended up with an inbound pass for the Beermen. It's with Gabe Freeman. He's got leeway for company. Chris Banchero to Brian Williams. Back to Banchero from 3-point land. And it's off the rim. And Sammy Monroe will take it out with the quick break. Patrick.
Cover, one cover hug. Now that will lift the man from Philippines. His first basket, not just in this game, for quite a while actually.
Yeah, he needed that, Ben. He needed that. And it's now, couldn't be tighter. 1 point in it.
This is why we love ASEAN Basketball League Season 2013, and it's out. And that will be, it looks like it's going to be a Beermen ball, but I thought it was a Dragons ball. But referees know better. They are in the better position. Avenido, the veteran. Inbound pass. Freeman open.
Beermen from three-point land puts up the air ball.
Now that's something that we don't see much from Gabe Beermen, Andy. Air ball from a world-class, well-traveled player who's played basketball in top leagues in Australia, Canada, and America. He played in the former CBA, and he was the best PBA import in the year 2010. And he's only turning 28 this year. How good is that? We are lucky to have him in our league.
Yeah, I bet the Beermen are thankful today. He's coming up with the points, and he's such a consistent player. You know, no matter what happens, even if the team doesn't play well, as an individual, Beermen will deliver.
We're winding down now. Slowly to the end. Patrick. Jump shot. Over. And the Dragons have the lead, Andy. Beermen are trying to attack quickly. Williams. Rejection. Gavin Edwards tells the 38-year-old Henry Mink, the PBA MVP of 2004, not in my house, buddy.
That's more like it from Gavin Edwards, showing his authority, showing his strength, and that's what the home fans want to see from him. Avenido with it. Menk with the loose pass. Justin Melton will take it to the hole.
Where is this enthusiasm coming from? Avenido! Menk, skyhook. And it's Beermen ball.
That was tough to call whether it came off Edwards or Avenido. The Dragons fans did not think that it came off Edwards. Edwards was gutted with the decision.
I was just about to say that. It looked contentious, but like I said, these guys have a very tough job to call. The slimmest of margins, Freeman for the three. And it's going to be Dragons ball.
Follows his air ball up with a brick. The man with 19.6 points per game, Gabe Beermen. He can be a game-winning player for Leo Austria if you let him. But I'll tell you what, these new boys are game-winning individuals, and the Dragons are right in this, 54-51 for the home team.
Needed a bit more elevation and push there in the follow-through of his shot there by Munro. But you need guys like that, Andy, to have the courage to take those big shots. They've got a three-point lead, but they want to build on it. It's anybody's game at the moment. Freeman's got it. Mink, Banchero, got to close down Banchero a bit better. Trying to draw the screen there, Mink. Oh, good eyes. Well, that was an interesting call, Andy.
Yeah, it was great basketball, though, from the Beermen, drawing a pushing foul.
Let's look at it again. Let's look at it again. That's very, very subjective. He was just, you know, trying to find his balance, but the referees call it. They did look like some contact in the replay.
Freeman to Williams. Behind the back pass to Eric Mink. With the 2, 1 point in it, 54-53 to the Westports Malaysia Dragons. We have Justin Melton on the ball, matched up by Chris Banchero.
He's trying to draw two defenders out. Kabahag for the 3. Oh, that came so close. That's why I said ooh. But Beermen, oh, they've got to slow down a bit now. Banchero. This is great, Andy. This is great basketball. Rebounding, attacking from both sides of the floor. This is why we love ABL season 2013.
That's why we love it. So engaging. Here's Sammy Monroe up against Avenido. Saw a cheeky push on Edwards off the ball there. It's getting very competitive. Avenido gets a shoulder in the chest from Monroe. Patrick Ibaha with the 3 and rebounded from Eric Mink.
Patrick Ibaha showing some frustration, clapping his hands in fury, saying, I should have got that. Just over 1 minute to go before the third quarter. Banchero open, Williams very open. Reverse, Mink. And Here we go.
Authority from the Dragons in defense there. So much improved. This is the best Dragons performance you've seen at home this season, Ben.
I am, Andy. I must be honest with you. I am impressed with the Dragons in terms of their rebounding. I've never been a fan of their rotation of guards, their quick rotation of guards, but rebounding in this quarter, hustling in this quarter, much, much better. But the Beermen are one team who never switch off. Just like that, the man who's been so quiet this game, Leo Avenido, it's all even Stevens for the 3 points, 56 points apiece.
We are tied up. Avenido showing why he was voted best local player last season. Bags of experience, bags of talent. He matches up Sammy Monroe, who puts up a 3 of his own.
I'm laughing because it's so exciting. Beermen have the ball. Can they at least cut the deficit to 1 point? Banchero playing like a man presents Freeman. This game, Andy Whitelaw, Lenora Lau, and all the fans of the ASEAN Basketball League season 2013 is arguably the most exciting game of this season. Hammer and tong stuff from the first quarter right up to the third. Andy, the home team leads by 3 points.
They have raised the bar here today, Ben, and long may this continue. Let's go to a commercial break. We'll be right back on Fox Sports.
If you're just joining us for the very first time today, it's the Westports Malaysia Dragons who lead the San Miguel Beermen 59 points to 56. And Andy Whitelaw, you will concur. If you're just joining us for the very first time today, do not go away. Do not get that cup of coffee. Do not get that popcorn or Pop-Tarts. It's end-to-end stuff here at MABA.
Well, you might have a cheeky couple of minutes, but you want to be back for the action because this is engaging stuff. The crowd today has been buzzing, and for good reason. So many interesting individuals, huge talents on display, and some great individual matchups, Ben.
Freeman, Williams, Monroe, Melton, Kabahag even coming into it late in the third quarter. Absolutely impressive, Andy, by both teams. You have to give it to them.
Great screen from Eric Menk there. We've got Gabe Freeman on the ball, matched up by Tautua. He'll take him on, but that is what an interception from Sammy Monroe, who combines with the alley-oop with Justin.
Look at that. That is awesome stuff. Now that is chemistry. Christian Lanzon loses the ball, Patrick Kabahag. Oh, that's a charging foul on Christian Lanzon. Leo Austria not happy with that call. And that was debatable. I will have to agree with Coach Leo there, Andy. Very, very debatable. You'd have to look at how their feet were they in legal guarding position.
It looked like he had his feet planted, Ben.
It did, didn't it?
It did. But I'll tell you what, I'm glad the decision went for Ariel Vanguardia because he was in danger of getting a technical. Both coaches getting so fired up. It's so competitive. But I'll tell you what, the new boys have had 2 training sessions, Justin Melton and Sammy Monroe. But the way they combined for that alley-oop looked like they've been playing together for years, but they can't get complacent with passes like that.
Good back pass there by Brian Williams. Banchero. And there seems to be a bit of contact there.
Holding foul given.
Good eyes, Andy, good eyes. Holding foul it is. Patrick trying to swipe it out. Lonzon, he doesn't play much.
Monroe will drive it, taking on Lonzon. He drives it right down the lane for the 2. 63-56 Malaysia Dragons.
This guy is a machine, isn't he? Imagine what he can do with more training sessions and more sleep, Andy.
The Dragons needed a wake-up call. They needed voices, and they needed a strong performance, and that's what they're getting here today, Ben.
Totally agree with you, Andy, but now they just need to slow it down a little bit and really exploit that Christian Lonzon has hardly played any minutes this season. He has averaged only 1 point per game, 1 rebound, and his average field goal percentage is 0, not because he's a weak player or anything, he just hasn't had much game time. So Dragons really need to exploit that, and I think I've spoken too soon because Leo Avenito comes on and replaces Christian Lonzon.
He's just come on and had a bit of a nightmare, Ben, committing 2 fouls in the space of a minute. No points on the board. The pace of the game is actually favoring the Dragons at the moment. You say they need to slow it down. I kind of have to disagree with you in that respect. The tempo is going great. But let's get right back to the action after a commercial break right here on Fox Sports.
It's the Malaysia Dragons that lead the San Miguel Beermen 63 points to 56. Over 8 minutes to go in the final quarter. And they have the ball. Tautua. Oh. Traveling by Muala Tautua. Too many steps there, Andy.
Yeah, again, showing his exuberance. Such an energetic player, but sometimes his energy can get the best of him. And we saw it there, hitting the deck like a sack of potatoes. Too many steps from Muala. But I'll tell you what. When the Dragons are hot, they're hot. They're breathing fire at the moment. 50% from three-point land in comparison with 32 to the Beermen. You got to love that.
Okay, Lynn's got a little bit of gossip for us. Lynn, what's the news?
Okay, Brian Williams is down on the ground. He looks to be like, I'm actually crouching. I'm trying to see what's going on. He looks to be holding his knee, his left knee. Don't know what physio is saying this yet, but he seems to be crying out in agony, and it doesn't look good for the Beermen. I'll keep you updated on what else is happening. Back to you guys.
Thanks very much, Lynn and Andy. Brian Williams injured. That could be maybe an opportunity for the Dragons to really push away.
Well, that's just not what you want to see in terms of the injury from Brian Williams. That looks nasty. He seems to be in a lot of pain there. And that could really affect his season, not just the game today. Yes, it could be pivotal in terms of the contest, but as an individual, you got to worry for Brian because the amount of struggle he looks in right now, the look on his face, it doesn't look positive for him.
No, it doesn't look positive, and well said. We don't like to see that in sports. We want to see the best players on the court every week, hammer and tong all the way through the season, and looks like he will be holding off. He's being held by his teammates, Christian London. Let's look at the movement here. Tautua, and yeah, he just goes something pulled there, Andy. Looks like something pulled, like something from his calf.
That's horrible to see. When it's off the ball like that, you know something's wrong. There was no contact. You just worry if it's ligament damage. It doesn't look good. He's hobbling. He's definitely out of the game today. But you just hope there's no long-term damage for the former Westport Malaysia Dragon.
Well, the good thing about the Beermen in situations like this, they've got so much depth. They've got Taulava and Eric Mink, both in their late 30s, but both are going to really show their championship experience here because they have experience from the PBA.
They're going to need all that experience, Ben, because when you see your friend, your mate, in that much pain, because Williams is struggling right now, it's going to affect you. You know, you don't want to see your teammate and friend taken off in that manner, because he is pivotal for this San Miguel Beermen team, and you wonder how they're going to compensate for his loss.
Well, let's hope for a speedy recovery, and hopefully it's nothing too bad. And Taulava loses it, and it will be Dragon's ball. And we can't see Brian Williams on screen at the moment, but he is in a lot of pain, Andy, because the bench of the Beermen is very close to the commentary box. He's struggling, he's almost in tears, but Justin Melton getting things underway. He's had a fantastic game.
Dragons looking to capitalize on what's been a very strong run in the game. They've been rebounding far better than we've seen them before, and they're looking just a more confident basketball team. The influx of new talent has helped them to gel. The chemistry, strangely, seems to be more there than it was before, despite the fact they've only trained twice.
Yeah, well, Cedric Bozeman, he tried to carry this team, and he was trying to do everything from three-point shooting to layups to defending. Eric Mink for the shot. Good shot by Eric Mink.
Yeah, Eric Mink with a long two, vastly experienced. That's not usually his game from outside. Big, tall guy, very good in the lane, but he's clawing this Beermen team back into it. 5 points between the two teams. Here's Justin Melton, out to Patrick Kabahag, the specialist, and that's what the Dragons need.
Well, they need more of that from Patrick Kabahag. This is the time where he should step up, and he should tell coach, look, I put my past behind me of a dodgy season, I'm back. And Leo Avenido says, I can do it better too.
Avenido fancies it. There has been some delicious three-point shooting here today, Ben, with both teams' numbers looking very good indeed. The Dragons 50% from three-point land. Here's Justin Melton out to Kabahag, who fancies it once more. And the rebound comes out to Edwards. Kabahag another bite at it perhaps, but no. Here's Monroe.
They've got time on the shot clock.
Great screening from Edwards for Monroe to shoot the three. Nail the three. 69-61. The Westports Malaysia Dragons take a commanding lead of the basketball game.
Still early days yet, Andy. We've got over 6 minutes to go. That's plenty of time. And Taulava open to Freeman. Can he connect? He does.
Just sinking buckets. They're going tit for tat with the threes. The standard has been raised.
Well, it's not over till it's over. And another three-point attempt.
From way, way downtown with Monroe. Bristling with confidence.
Referee plays advantage. I thought he would have called a foul in 2 shots. But no, he let play go. And now it's a three-point ball game. Dragons have the slight lead. Justin Melton. This is what I said earlier, Andy. This is what I meant by the Dragons need to calm down. Not too excited, not too ambitious. Making simple shots count.
Sammy Monroe on 26 points already. That's a wild one from Moala Tautua, but it's rebounded from Kabahag. A loose ball. Taulava will collect. Avenido breaking for the Beermen.
Machera open.
Eric Mink is crowded out. So many Dragons defenders, and that's better from Gavin Edwards. That's surely a travel. Justin Melton. No? No, I apologize. He's done well.
That is a holding foul, Andy. Let's look at that again. Justin Melton coming at 100 miles an hour. He goes up for the basket, and yeah.
No. Wow. Great play from Justin Melton once more, and he'll go to the line. %33% from the line today. That will not help his average. What a great game he's had today, though. Justin Melton. 13 points. He has dictated the pace for the Dragons.
That, Andy, is also technical because the Dragons get the ball back. We looked at the replay earlier. You know, it could have gone either way, like you said, but referees call it how they call it.
I was wrong. It was never a travel. It was aggressive basketball from Justin Melton, drawing the foul as he was shooting. Fouled. Dragons currently lead by 4. Sammy Monroe with it, drives in. Out to Patrick Cabajo.
Oh, turnover, chance for the Beermen. Banchero! Excellent hustle by the Beermen. And Gabe Freeman taunting the referee. He's taunting, and the referee, will he call a technical? Technical on Gabriel Freeman. Oh my God, why did he do that? He had an opportunity to really get them back on even keel, but now he's given the ascendancy back to the home team, Andy.
I mean, he was asking for it, Ben. He screamed at the referee, basically. He chatted him down. He was fired up after scoring the 2. Gave the referee more than a bit of lip. And I don't really see why the Beermen are complaining about this.
Leo Avenido just went up to the referee and said something. Look, the Beermen, now they have to calm down, Andy, because tempers are flaring. It's only a 2-point game. Over 4 minutes to go. There's plenty of time to win this game. Monroe, can he hit the 2 shots?
67% from the line.
Lenore has some interesting news for us. Over to you, Lynn.
Got word on Brian Williams. Apparently one of the KL Dragons had bumped him a little bit on the knee. So spoke to the physio, nothing serious. It is possible for Williams to get back into the game, which is only 4 minutes to game time. End of game. Back to you guys.
Thanks very much, Lynn. Very good piece of digging there. Andy, what's going on here?
Well, that was a revelation. Williams looked down and out for the count. I didn't think he would get back into this basketball game, let alone be fit. But that could be pivotal. Wow, Sammy Monroe coming up with the goods.
He reveals himself. He'll feel very bad that he missed those free throws. But still anybody's game. Mink open, and he loses it, and here come the Dragons.
So we saw Brian Williams lacing up his shoes on the sideline, and here he comes. He's ready to get back in the game, Ben. Did you see that coming?
No, I did not.
Loose ball, Melton, Leeway. Leeway slowing it down, back out to Justin Melton from way outside, with Taulava with the rebound.
This is exciting stuff. This is exciting stuff. This game is going to go down to the wire. Ariel needs to get off the floor. Coach Ariel.
Oh, looked like a cheeky push from Monroe. Referee that didn't see it or chose to ignore it.
Good eyes. He got away with it, Andy. He got away with it.
Monroe. It comes out to Chris Banchero, and that's a foul from Monroe, surely.
See, when Chris Banchero is running at you at that speed, you've got to be careful how your feet are on the ground and where the body's contact. There's contact there. That was a fair call by the referees. Well done. And Brian Williams is back on the court. Oh, great to see, Andy.
Well, it is great to see, but look at him, he's limping. I know that he wants to play against his old team, but if he can't run, how effective can he be? Well, maybe he's just going to play his game inside, as he normally does, so effective on the rebound, but I'm shocked to see him back in the game.
Well, maybe Coach Leo Austria is saying to him, protect the heavens, which means protect the basket and don't let these guys in. Don't give them an inch, because Williams has had a very solid defensive game today.
Oh yeah, he's been great as well with 10 points, but Chris Banchero from the line, probably not the man you want to see there. 50% average from the free throw.
Gets 1 out of 2, and it's a 3-point game. 3 minutes to go. And hold on to your seats, folks. Do not go anywhere, because this game is going down to the wire. Wouldn't be surprised if there's overtime.
Yeah, well, you just wonder, Ben, is this where the experience of the San Miguel Beermen starts to pay dividends? Because they've been there, seen it, and they've got the basketball jersey. But Justin Melton, the new boy, comes up with the goods. And that will delight this home crowd.
You spoke too soon, mate. Just as you're saying, the Beermen is coming back into it. Well, Dragons hit back. We're just going to take a short commercial break. Don't go away. Just over 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes to go before the end of the game. It's the Dragons that lead by 6 points, the home team. And the visiting team gets things underway. Chris Banchero, Leo Avenido relatively open. Patrick Kabaha got him, but Gabe Freeman has got the ball, Andy.
Freeman, so effective for the Beermen. We know how quickly things can change, but Justin Melton, what a game he's having. Long pass to Munro, Munro with the stuff.
That's courage, that's tenacity, and that's just going for it. 2 minutes to go. Who's gonna win this game? Beermen making some very, very small mistake, turning over again. And yep, the new boy, rejection. Absolutely fantastic rejection by the small man. Small man on small man. Banchero saying, yes, I'm 6'1", but I can also defend. Let's look at this again. Justin goes up, rejection. How sweet is that, Andy?
Yeah, great D from Banchero. Huge, aggressive play from the Beermen guard. But Edwards now matched up by Williams. Williams looking fit and ready to go. Leeway trying the long two, but that is not his game, Ben.
No, it's not. Freeman.
The combination play between Munro and Melton has been scintillating today, and Melton is 100% from three-point land. Delicious stats from the new boy, but it's a foul. Dragons had no complaints. Freeman, you don't want to see him at the line. A rare miss from the star man.
Well, lucky I didn't bet my house on that. But he's showing signs of a little bit of fatigue, Andy. Don't forget, this is their second road game this week, coming straight from Thailand.
Freeman's game seems to be all about the fire. Such an explosive player, but if you look, the San Miguel Beermen have got 4 team fouls, so someone as tenacious as Gabe Freeman, maybe that calms his game a bit, and that's not what they need, worried about committing the 5th.
Well, good rebounding by Lee Wei, that's why he's there. You said earlier, Andy, he was very hesitant to take the shots, I say. Edwards also hesitant, but they're just trying to work the clock down, go to the basket. Ooh, that looked like a bit of a travel, but it's a tip-in. And we go to the benches of both teams. A timeout. Just over 1 minute to go. 9-point lead for the Dragons. But I'm not counting all my eggs just yet, because the Beermen, like you said, Andy, over and over this game, they've got the experience, they've got the depth, and they've got the quality to come back and win any game.
Yes, they do. And they were last year's finalists, narrowly missing out on the ABL Championship. But I have got to hear what Ariel Vanguardia has to say to his boys now.
They will pressure. Look. They will drop. They will pressure. Okay? Make sure. Big man, you gotta get it. Be strong with the ball. Be strong with the ball.
So that's the end of the timeout. The horn blows. The cheerleaders come off the court, and Dragons and Beermen now need to get back on quickly. Over 1 minute to go. 9-point lead, Andy, but in my opinion, still plenty of time.
Yeah, I couldn't quite catch what Coach Ariel was saying to his players during that timeout, but you can imagine he's trying to translate the message, guys, let's keep a cool head. But I'll tell you what, the new guys, Melton and Monroe, have shown real leadership today. Guga, of course, not fit to play. We heard rumors at the start of the game that he might make the bench, but the boys have shown great leadership throughout the team today, and that Ariel and Vanguardia will be hugely impressed with, you have to say.
Couldn't agree with you more, but I think there's also a little bit of a desperation to win, because 4 losses on the bounce is not a loving feeling, and 5 is a horrible feeling. So 1 minute to go, over 1 minute to go, they really want to win this. Avenido to Banchero. Freeman free, trying to set up the screen. Oh, good basket by Chris Banchero.
17 points for Chris Banchero, again coming up with the goods for the San Miguel Beermen. Oh, that's loose, and Gabe Freeman will jam all night long.
That was a good piece of movement. Careless by the Dragons, but they capitalized. Coach Ariel not happy with what he's seeing, but this is the typical Dragons fashion, Andy. They have to do it the hard way.
Yes, they do. The Dragons were flying for so much of this game, but when it really counts, they need to stand up and show some character. They've shown talent and ability in buckets when nailing the buckets. But when it counts, 49.5 seconds left, the experience, the cool heads of the Beermen could prevail.
Didn't I say plenty of time? And look at that. In a blink of an eye, or a couple of eyes, should I say, it's a 5-point game, and the Dragons have the ball when we come back from, well, when both teams go back to the floor. But you know what? This is why I said, slow it down, just go for the realistic shots, not the ambitious shots. So you'll be looking at guys like Patrick. Don't go for the 3, make the 2. Look at Justin Melton, you know, just make simple shots, and they've been doing that all day long. So stick to basics, Andy, that's what I say.
Yeah, they need to play smart basketball, Ben. You look at the San Miguel Beermen, and they are not panicking. Yes, they're 5 points down, but a long way to go. They know they can easily come back. Gabe Freeman can hit his shots from just about anywhere. So they know that the Dragons are liable to turn over, and the Dragons need to make sure that they keep good retention of the basketball.
Check this out, Andy. Team captain Setyasil Kupusami, Mr. Money, the man who knows how to hit 3 points. He's on the floor, so I think Coach Ariel is stating his intentions very clearly. Get it to Sealan and make sure he connects with it. They're really hustling it out here. Oh, what's going on here? This is an interesting call by the referees. The referee comes up to the middle of the court. Let's see what he has to call, Andy, because there was a lot of bodies in there.
You've got to love the expression on Patrick Kabahug's face. He gave a knowing smile to his teammates, using his experience.
Let's look at this.
Here it is. Matching up double teamed. Oh, he's got his hands all over him. He even got a slap in the face for his trouble from Gabe Freeman.
That's what the FIBA boys say, restricting the freedom of movement. And Patrick's freedom of movement was restricted, so that means he goes to the line and needs to hit at least one of these two shots.
Here's where the pressure really begins to tell. Patrick Kabahug has been in slightly better form. He's hit 2 threes today. Still not hitting the dizzy heights we know he can in previous games. But if he were to nail this, it could have a real impact then.
Well, like I said, if he could at least hit 1 of 2, then it would give the Dragons some sort of psychological confidence going in. But no timeout. The Beermen really want to get on with the job and score points.
Well, they've committed 5 team fouls now, the Beermen, so they know any foul and they're going to send the Dragons to the line. That could have a very significant effect on the outcome of this basketball game. It's a free-for-all in there.
They're trying to box out each other. They're trying to just get the ball. But after all that effort, it's going to be San Miguel ball. They're looking. Look at them, Andy. Look at them. Gabe Freeman is down. Brian Williams is down, showing signs of fatigue. This is their second road game this week in a space of just 4 days, or 4 days and a half. And Brian Williams, can he be the cool, composed character, even though he's got an injury, he's carrying an injury? Can he hit at least? Well, can he hit both? He's a good shooter. I would say he can hit both.
Yeah, he's in double figures from points today, Ben. 12 points for Brian Williams. 100% from the free throw line. And you got to say, not only is this guy strong physically, but mentally. To recover from that injury, he's still limping, but his presence on the court just gives his teammates a massive, massive lift.
24 shots on, or 24 seconds, shall I say, Andy, on the shot clock, 30 seconds to go. Do the Dragons just try to eat into the clock?
They've got to play smart now, Ben. They've got to show that they can use their heads, because Gabe Freeman can come up with the goods. And we've seen Chris Banchero weigh in with his own today. 15 points for Banchero. 14 points for Gabriel Freeman. They know they can score just 4 points in it. Here's Justin Melton. Justin Melton will take it up with real intent. Sealing in a bit of space. Edwards. Smart basketball from the Malaysia Dragons. Moving it effectively. Melton in space. Back out to Edwards. Retaining possession, just 12.2 seconds left on the clock.
Well, that was smart basketball, Andy. Not pretty basketball, but that's called being professional, winding down the clock, and that's going to be a handy lead. Gavin Edwards goes to the line. This is pressure, Andy. Oh, God, it's been a great game. Been a great game. Well done to both teams for giving us a fantastic exhibition of basketball, and Moala Tautua comes onto the court for the remainder of the game.
Fantastic, so engaging, Ben. I can't take my eyes off it, and there is nobody leaving the house at this point. Gavin Edwards with a real opportunity here to put the Westports Malaysia Dragons firmly in the driver's seat.
Well, doesn't matter what happens in the next shot. The San Miguel Beermen will try to make it 3 points after this. And yeah, but they'll go to the bench first for a timeout. Now, Andy, 6 points. It's possible they could hit 2 trays to send this game into overtime. Your thoughts?
Well, they're going to need 3. Well, yeah, 6 points, yeah. Two 3-pointers, and they will send it into overtime. But that's a big ask. With 12.2 seconds left on the clock, it would take something monumental but they're going to have to try. And I'll tell you what, Gabe Beermen is a guy talented enough to pull off 2 quick threes. But I would be very impressed if that actually happened.
Look at Coach Ariel. He's just putting his hands down saying, calm down, guys. You just got to be professional and do the simple things right. Don't give away a foul. Don't give them territory. Don't give them possession. And you should have the game. He said yesterday, if you win, he said yesterday in training that is, if you win, the fans will come back. And this is Chinese New Year week. Many Malaysians are away, as they say in Malaysia, balik kampung, visiting their parents in their respective hometowns. But this is a very healthy crowd, considering it's a long week with the public holiday, or short week with the public holiday, shall I say.
Yeah, the crowd loving it, and the players will be in great spirits. If they can pull off this win today against the San Miguel Beermen, that will be a major boost to their confidence. And what about the new players? How have they performed today? What an impact that will have on the squad and the general mentality, because mentality, let's be honest, has been an issue for this Dragons team.
I can't agree with you more. This team is an emotional team, the Dragons. I've said that before. When things don't go their way, they really, don't suck it up very well. And Avenito, 4 seconds left. And Andy, that is the ball game. The Westports Malaysia Dragons break a 4-game losing streak, and they have finally won a game this season. They are huddling in and celebrating like they've won the ABL Championship season 2013. They defeat the highly fancied San Miguel Beermen 82 points to 76.
Yes, indeed. The crowd are on their feet. They are loving it, and the players will be elated. What a victory against the highly fancied San Miguel Beermen, one of the favorites for the ABL title. The Dragons are back, and they are breathing fire.
Let's look at them in the middle, Andy. They are huddling each other. Look, coach, team general manager Jakob, Go Cheng Huat, the former coach before, physiotherapist Shogi, all getting in together and huddling. The San Miguel Beermen, well, they can't wait to get out very, very quickly. They'll be disappointed with that, but they played, in my opinion, a great, fantastic game. And if Brian Williams was super fit, it could have gone either way, Andy.
It could have done, but we've seen vast improvements today from the Malaysia Dragons, working on their weaknesses. The experience from the Beermen, I thought, could have a major impact. Brian Williams soldiering on after that injury. I mean, look at him at the moment off camera. The guy cannot even walk, but the fact that he powered on and even got some points on the boards was just great to see.
Well, as the Dragons celebrate, we're just going to take a very short commercial break. Don't go away. The Dragons finally get a victory, Andy Whitelaw, after 4 consecutive losses. They could have won it against Singapore in Singapore, but Tautua missed that dunk. But today, Tautua and the whole Dragons team, they lifted their game to another level.
Yes, they did, and Ariel Vanguardia, the coach, will be delighted to see the improvements made from their weak areas. The rebounding defensively was so impressive today, the way they matched up the Beermen, who are taller and more physical. But the new boys, wow, what an impact they had. Justin Melton and Sammy Monroe, huge scores from those two today.
I couldn't agree with you more. The best is still yet to come from those two guys. But let's go over to Lynn, who's talking to the winning player and coach.
Hello, beside me, I've got Coach Arya and also the player of the game, Sammy Monroe. Now, Coach, it's been a vast improvement for the KL Dragons, rebounding, astounding, and all your transitions. How do you feel about your new team at the moment?
Well, they step up to the challenge. I challenged them that, you know, we really have to get those loose balls and rebounds. We've been up all those games that we played. We've been up in the first half by a double-digit margin, and we were not able to finish the job. But today we're able to finish it, and that's going to be the whole season for us. It's going to be rebounds and loose balls and finishing the job.
What are you going to do to continue with this vast improved movement in this game?
Well, you know, I got burned, really. It was my fault because of those 4 losses. I think I was preparing too much because San Miguel beat us last season, and I built the team to beat San Miguel. But I forgot about Indonesia, forgot about Thailand, and we got, you know, Singapore. I was focusing on this game, and I got to give it to the boys because I told them, hey, I built you to beat San Miguel. You got to, you know, at least step up to the challenge that I made the right decision that you can beat this team, and they did.
They really did. And now let's go to our player of the game, Sammy Monroe. My gosh, you have 32 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists, and 8 steals. How do you feel about that stats? This is your first time playing here with the KL Dragons.
Yeah, I mean, I feel really good about this game. I just came here to work hard and help the team win. So, I mean, it's a good win today.
That's fantastic. What else do you think you can bring for the rest of the games to the KL Dragons?
I mean, I can bring more points, more excitement, more steals, more wins. So I hope all the fans come support the team. I hope we sell out the gym one day.
Thank you very much. Congratulations again, both of you. Well, that is it. The KL Dragons have won it back here at home. They have beaten that losing streak. Back to you guys.
Thanks very much, Lenora. Good job and great in-depth analysis of the stats. But Andy, there was a rumor going around after the Dragons lost to the Chang Thailand Slammers that Coach Ariel said at the start of the season that he said the Chang Thailand Slammers would finish last. And he was eating his words after that game.
Yeah, they certainly sent a message, didn't they? But he's got to build on this. This is a massive buzz for the Dragons. They've got to take this into the next game. They've just beaten one of the strongest teams in the LBL and done it with a convincing, solid performance.
Well, let's just have a look at the highlights at the moment. Both teams started extremely strong. Gabe Freeman and Brian Williams had a great rebounding game. And even though Brian Williams wasn't super match fit for all 4 quarters, but he just goes in there. That's what he does, Andy. He can just get in the paint and really pop it in. And even Leo Avenido, well, he's more of a 6-man these days because he's not so consistent.
Gavin Edwards from way downtown, 100% from three-point land. He had a much better game for the Dragons. But that's Chris Benchero with 20 points. Hugely influential for the Beermen. But Sammy Monroe, wow, 32 points himself. And that'll get you the MVP.
Well, that would early days yet, my friend. But
from the game.
From the game, anyway, best player of the game. But really, the imports, I mean, if they weren't here today, if, let's just say, there was no injury to Cedric Bozeman, it could have gone a different way. And Banchero, look, they didn't close down Banchero. They left him too open this game. That's my criticism of the Dragons. Great baseball pass down there. Kabahag getting some very rare points. And yes, Justin, look at this movement all the way to the hold.
That was textbook the way he drove it in. Avenido, last season's best local player, showing what he can do. Monroe from way downtown. 3-pointers were flying in today. And the alley-oop, my favorite play of the day, the interplay between Monroe and Justin Melton was admirable.
Well, Melton and Monroe, they combined very well for this game, but here, you know, Eric Meng, great shot here. It was in the dying seconds. He hit that, but then the Dragons to Patrick, and Patrick, he'll be happy with this game because he's got points. He's now got confidence. And Banchero, he never lies down. He plays right to the final whistle.
And here he is. It was a great fast break from the Beermen. Solid rebounding in that instance, but the Dragons can break themselves. Moala, a bit of a dunk. Justin Melton, again linking with Monroe. Monroe and Melton all day long. That was a loose pass. And Freeman showing that he can stuff it like no one else.
Well, an excellent display of basketball, ABL Season 2013 basketball by both teams. So Andy, where to now for both teams? But hold our horses there. We're just getting way too excited. We're just going to take a short commercial break. Don't go away. More here on Fox Sports. A spectacular performance by both teams, the Westports Malaysia Dragons and the San Miguel Beermen. 4 great quarters of basketball, Andy Whitelaw. They came out the victors, 82 points to 76. And let's look at the stats, Andy.
Yeah, field goal percentage, what the Malaysia Dragons pride themselves on, 40 to 33. They will be delighted with that. And from the line, 50%. The Beermen were more efficient, 72%. But rebounding, which can be a weakness, we know for the Dragons. There was almost parity, but of course the Beermen out-rebounding 51 to 42. Assists, again, something that Dragons have not been strong on. Almost level with 14 to 17, but the turnovers, the sloppiest area of the Dragons. They were almost level again, 22 to 23. And the likes of Edwards today and Monroe were huge with some of their blocks, with 7 to 8.
Well, I must say, Andy, 23 turnovers, 22 turnovers for the Dragons. I must say that's probably because of both teams are really very aggressive and showing a lot of hustle in the paint, which led to a lot of turnovers. But the Dragons will be happy that their rebounding stats are better. Even though they did not out-rebound the Beermen, they had better stats on the boards.
Well, yeah, if you look at the pace of the game, the tempo was so fast. It was just bang, bang, end to end. The way they both played today was very high, you know. The atmosphere in the stands was huge, so they'll accept that. They'll accept some turnovers.
I'm sure they will. Let's look at the play of the day, because there was some electric stuff, Andy.
Electric indeed. Here's Sammy Monroe. What a star this guy is. A star is born in Malaysia, but that was sensational. A worthy play of the day. Monroe to Justin Melton, and what a way to announce yourselves to Malaysia.
Well, it was a great piece of movement. Very athletic. And those two guys, I must say, they just knew where each other were.
It's like they've been playing together for years. Now, alley-oops, that's what the fans come to watch basketball for. And three-pointers. Wow, how many threes were sunk today? They were loving it.
Now, Leo Avenido, who didn't have his best game according to his standards, but even guys like him who were rotated off the bench a lot by the Beermen, he hit some great trays.
Yes, he did indeed. And Banchero, he was looking pretty slick from three-point land. It was just Huge showings from both teams doing what they do best. We know how good the field goal percentage can be from the Dragons, and they also had 32 points in the paint today, which they'll be pleased with because that's the Beermen's game.
Well, both teams march on, and both teams will need to get over this loss and win respectively and go back to the drawing board on Monday, because it is still early days yet in the ASEAN Basketball League Season 2013. But that's our call to call it a day on behalf of Lenora Lau, our courtside reporter, my co-commentator for today, Andy Whitelaw, and myself, Ben Ibrahim. It's been an enjoyable game. We'll catch you next time, folks. This is ABL Season 2013 live on Fox Sports. Have a great weekend.